So here we are. Just as I predicted, the burst spec is here for Demon Hunters. Okay, if you haven't played the game in the last 3 days, Demon Hunters got huge buffs. I explained this in a video not too long ago, and now Demon Hunters have a spec where they can do an insane amount of burst damage, and they can really kill somebody within like a second, and it's really making a lot of people like mad, but I know a lot of people are also playing Demon Hunter now. So I thought that I would make this video and at least explain to you how the burst happens. So not only can you learn if you're playing the Demon Hunter, but if you are playing against a Demon Hunter, you know when they're going to be doing this burst. You can see it, you can understand it, it might help you get away from it, it might help you counter it, or use the defensive properly, or trinket and get away, whatever you got to do. Okay, so I'm going to run through my spec real quick. These are my talents that I'm going to be taking on this is the most normal talent spread that I'm taking. I'm taking Fell Mastery because I like when it generates Fury. I like that it does a lot of damage, and I like it better than Fellblade. I don't need the extra mobility from Fellblade, and Blind Fury doesn't work at all because I-Beam can be interrupted. This is more of a PvE thing. So the level 100 talents, I'm playing with Demonic Appetite, and the reason for this is because Demon Blades was really dominant last patch, but now it's not because it was nerfed so much. I have a really hard time generating Fury when I'm playing Demon Blades now, so I'm actually playing Demonic Appetite, and I really don't have any Fury problems at all. Playing with Demon's Bite generates 20 to 30 Fury every time you use the ability, and then also getting that Demonic Appetite Lesser Soul Fragments every now and then for 35 Fury is really beneficial. And on top of that, this is where we get into the talents that really matter. First Blood, it got huge buffs, and now Blade Dance does an insane amount of damage, just like I talked about in the video. And then Soul Rending, I play with Soul Rending mostly because I'm actually playing with Demonic Origins. I'll get into that in a moment. But Soul Rending offers 70% leech while Metamorphosis is active and can help you be offensive and defensive at the same time, just by putting out a lot of damage. Playing with Nemesis. Nemesis got a 5% bonus, and it also gives you 25% and extra damage when you're attacking one target for 1 minute. It's a debuff, you put it up. You can also imprison a target and then Nemesis them while they're in prison. It works. I'll show that in a little bit. I'm playing Master of the Glaive right now. I still think that the root, or the snare, and the AoE snare possibilities from Master of the Glaive is really beneficial. And pretty much the only time you use Chaos Nova is when you're using Fury of the Illidari, and they're both on a 1 minute cooldown, so putting this on a 40-second cooldown, the Chaos Nova on a 40-second cooldown with the Unleashed Power doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in my opinion, so that's why I'm playing with Master of the Glaive. It offers that 50% snare from a range, so it helps you keep up with targets, which I think is beneficial. And then last but not least, I'm playing with Chaos Blades, which got a pretty significant buff and offers a lot of damage whenever you're fighting against an enemy team. And it's only on a 2 minute cooldown, which really synergizes well with Demonic Origins that I'll get in a second. For PvP talents, Gladiator's Medallion or Adaptation mostly. I don't really play with Relentless. Reinforced Armor against casters, Sparring against melee. I play with Solitude most of the time because I like to play comps in Arena that I'm not a double melee. I usually play with a caster like a Warlock, Shadow Priest, or an Elemental Shaman. And Solitude pretty much gains its benefit from that 15% extra damage and attack speed whenever there's no one within 15 yards of you. The Eye debuff is really strong right now. It does 8% of their health and shadow damage, which is really good. It actually got buffed. Yesterday it was 7%. And as I'm reading it, it says 8%, which is more. So I'm curious how that keeps increasing on damage. But this is really strong. A lot of people don't dispel this, and if you put it on an Affliction Warlock, they'll kill themselves. But if you don't see any use for this ability, then go with Unending Hatred. It's very strong as well. Helps you generate that Fury. And Reverse Magic is okay, but I think this one's better overall. Demonic Origins, brand new talent. I've already explained it in a past video. It allows you to have a 2 minute Metamorphosis cooldown, but your Metamorphosis duration is only 15 seconds as opposed to 30. But what's really important is that this spec in general, the burst spec that I'm playing with First Blood and Nemesis, it's kind of inconsistent. So while you're not in Metamorphosis, your damage is increased by 10%, which is really valuable. It kind of helps with that inconsistency of Demon Hunter when you're playing this spec, and having that extra 10% damage really does matter, in my opinion. And last but not least, I pretty much always play with Mana Break right now because it offers 15% of the target's maximum health and chaos damage by just pressing the button. And this also scales off of Chaos Blade, so you can do percent health damage that is increased by Chaos Blades and Nemesis at the same time, and that's a lot of damage. It usually hits for about 550,000 damage whenever I play with it. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the spec. Now I want to go over the rotation itself. I want to explain how the rotation works. It's available every 2 minutes because you're gonna want to have Chaos Blades, you're gonna want to have Metamorphosis up. Those are 2-minute cooldowns, and then also Nemesis is a 2-minute cooldown, and Fury of the Eldari is a 1-minute cooldown, so you can use that twice, or you can use that one extra time before you're gonna need it again for the big burst combo. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to walk up to a target. You're gonna build up all of your Fury that you have with your Demon's Bite or your Fell Rushes, whatever it is. Whatever it is you want to do, right? So you got 110 Fury. What are you going to do now? Pretty much what I like to do is I'll jump on the healer, for example. So like we're just going to pretend Totem Leva here is a healer. I'll pretty much imprison him to keep him in place, just to stop him for a second. And then I'll put Nemesis on him while he's in prison. And then I'll jump on him with Metamorphosis. I will use my Chaos Blades right there. I'll put down my Fury of the Eldari. You'll hit your Blade Dance or your Death Sweep ability after hitting Fury of the Eldari, and then you will hit Mana Break while you are jumping around in your Blade Dance. And what's really cool is while you're jumping around in your Blade Dance, you can still use abilities, and using that Mana Break at the same time is really valuable. So pretty much at that point, when you use those 3 damage abilities, the target's going to be anywhere between 10 and 20% health. And that's when you'll use the rest of your Fury in order to use your Chaos Strike or your Annihilation, and pretty much just finish him off with some damage there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works. Again, we're going to be imprisoning him. We're going to use Nemesis. We're going to jump onto him with Metamorphosis. We're going to use Chaos Blades, Fury of the Eldari, Blade Dance, or Death Sweep. And then we're going to use Chaos Strike or Annihilation to finish him off. And just so you know, you can also use Arcane Torrent if you're a Blood Elf in order to silence him after he gets that Metamorphosis stun out. So it stuns him for 3 seconds. After that ends, you can use your Blood Elf Silence for 2 extra seconds of him not being able to press buttons. Okay, so we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to build up my Fury real quick, get up to 110. And we're good. Okay, so he's at 2.6 million health. Again, what we're going to do is imprison, Nemesis, Metamorphosis, Chaos Blades, Fury of the Eldari, Blade Dance, and Mana Break. And he's already at 10%. We finished him off with one extra Annihilation, or what's it called? Chaos Strike, right? And we did a crazy amount of damage right there. As you can see, Death Sweep hit for 573,000 damage. Fury of the Eldari hit for 519,000 damage. Mana Break hit for 496,000 damage. And I think Chaos Blades hit him for 357,000. Rage of the Eldari hit for 357,000. And Annihilation hit him for 330,000, all within about 3 seconds, give or take. So now you know. Now you know like what's going on. Now you know, you can understand how this burst works. This is a crazy burst that will get nerfed eventually. I do see this being nerfed pretty quickly. However, if you're playing Demon Hunter or you're playing against Demon Hunter, if you're playing WoW Arena at all, you're probably playing against Demon Hunters, and this is probably happening in your games, and I want to at least explain it to you guys so you can understand how this works. Okay, understand like what's causing this to actually happen. But you know, that's really all I have for you today. I just wanted to explain this real quick because it's insane how much damage this really does. If any target at all doesn't have his PvP trinket or is at 50% health and you have this combo available, you pretty much just annihilate that target right there and right then, and there's nothing anyone can do about it because it happens within 2 to 3 seconds. So it's actually crazy, guys. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump into some arenas real quick so you can see just like 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 skirmishes of this happening in action. So let's go ahead and jump into that, and I will see you in just a moment. Alright guys, that does sum it up for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and you can also subscribe to my channel to learn all of these weird little tips and tricks that I'm releasing at the same time. I'm also doing like walkthroughs and all this, and I hope you enjoyed, so be sure to subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.